military horse with a speed of light, a cloud of dust, and the haughty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Lone Silver, let's go, big fellow. Hail Silver, away! When you realize that champions are made, not born. It couldn't be truer in the case of golf champion Kerry Middlecoff. When Kerry was just in his teens, he putted hours on the green, learned to drive how to chip, and from the chance he took a tip. A bowl of Wheaties gave him zip. Now Kerry hits them to the pin. Eating Wheaties helps him win. Champion Kerry Middlecoff, a long, long time Wheaties eater. 20 years in all. Wheaties help all right. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties plate. All right, slam that ball. What? He's on his way, on his way. He's on his way, on his way. Get on your way with Wheaties. Cause champions not late, not born. Yes, sir. Get on your way. Get on your way. Get on your way with Wheaties. Breakfast of champions. For some time, the territory surrounding the town of Bakerville was terrorized by an outlaw gang, led by a hooded man who had become known as the Quiet Highwayman, so named because he never spoke during robberies and directed his gang with prearranged signals. One afternoon in Bakerville, the sheriff entered the general store and immediately became the target for questions from the store owner, Frank Atkins, and Gil Candy, a land agent.
Oh, not yet, Frank. Whenever anyone leaves town with something of value, that gang finds out and there's another holdup. That means the gang leader has a way of knowing everything goes on here. Why don't you figure out who's away from town when the holdup takes place? Now, don't talk like a fool, Frank. Folks go in and out of town all day long. And as I recall, you were out of town the time the gang robbed the express station.
I went over to Stockton to bring back a load of store supplies that day. Gil was out of town, too.
Yeah, I went to see about some new property. Anyway, Sheriff, I hear you were not around on some occasions when that gang struck.
See there, Sheriff? Folks could even suspect you of being the Quiet Highway.
Sure, that proves my point. We could suspect most anybody in town, for that matter.
Ed, Bates, you gonna keep me sitting out here on the buckboard in the hot sun all day? I declare, once you get in there gathering with those store loafers, I never know when we'll get home. Remember, we gotta stop at the Buy White Spread to buy those horses before we get home.
Well, I was coming right out, Flora. Be with you in a minute.
Well, you better, otherwise I'll drive away without you and let you walk.
Boy's a little riled today, eh?
As long as she's riled, she's happy, sir. Hey, I think it's safe for me to carry a couple of $1,000 in cash with me to the Buy White. I want to pay for some prize horses I'm buying.
I reckon the outlaws won't suspect you're carrying that much cash. You and Florida drive to town several times a week. You haven't been bothered.
Yeah, that's right. But I better grab my packages and get going or she'll yap my ear off all the way.
Go on. Well, give me a straw tobacco. I'll get back my horse. All right.
After making camp in the hills not far from town, the Lone Ranger and Tonto left to search for some clue to the Quiet Highwayman's hideout. A little later, Dan Reed, who was spending his vacation with them, mounted his horse Victor and rode leisurely along the main trail toward town.
Go on, Victor.
Dan rode only a short distance when he saw a buckboard coming toward him. As he was about to pass, the man driving the vehicle called out.
Hey there, wait a minute. Who's it, boy? Howdy, son. My name's Dave the Circle B. It's my wife.
Glad to meet you.
Hello.
My name's Dan Ray.
Danny, I've been eyeing that stallion as you rode towards us. I'd sure like to buy him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bates. He's not for sale.
I'll give you a good price, son.
I couldn't put a price on Victor, sir.
He said he didn't want to sell, didn't he? Why do you waste time sitting here talking when it... Plain sake. Look, coming over the ride to the left. Masked outlaws.
The leader's wearing the hood.
Why, Highwayman. Right where you're going, Dan. Wait.
We haven't a chance. Don't draw.
Hey, we got you covered.
Boss is signaling for him to get off the buckboard.
Come on, you two, sit down.
Better do as he says.
Well, I never...
Getting covered, men. Looking out, searching. Steady, boy. You dismount too, young fella. Victor, all right? I'll take your gun, young fella, and yours, mister. There. I'll throw him over yonder. Here's the cash the rascal was carrying. Shall I search the woman, too?
You lay a hand on me and by thunder I'll scratch your eyes out, guns or no guns.
Let her alone, Jake. The boss just signaled to let her be.
What's that silly signaling business? First man I ever met who didn't want to let himself be heard all over the place. Let me tell you, Mr. Hooded Man, you'll be sorry for this. The day will come when you and your thieving followers will rue the day you ever...
Shut up, will you? Come on, Slick. Boss wants to get away from this yapping female.
He told me to stop. Did you hear that?
Hey, Jiminy, it cost me $2,000 to have the pleasure of hearing someone tell you to shut up. Come on, Dan, we'll find the gun.
While Dan and the rancher searched in the tall brush for their guns, Dan mentally reviewed in detail what he'd tell the Lone Ranger. He had studied the quiet leader intently while he had the chance, and had made a mental picture of the sinister, quiet highwayman and his horse. After finding their guns, Dan and Ed Bates returned to the buckboard.
Well, are you going to let those outlaws make off with our money, Ed Bates, are you?
Don't be a fool, Dora. I'd expect me and Daniel to stop him. We'll turn around and go report the robbery to sheriff. Better come along, son.
No, you go on, sir. There's something else I want to do first. I'll see you both again. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dennis.
Come on, mister.
Dan rode back to camp and waited impatiently until the Lone Ranger and Tonto returned. Dan told them what had happened. Then the Lone Ranger spoke.
Tonto and I saw what seemed to be a posse riding up the trail. Must be the sheriff and his men out to trail the outlaws.
I thought of trying to trail them, but I decided against it.
That was wise, Dan. They'll cover the trail, and they might have captured you.
I studied the leader closely while I had the chance, sir. There were no special markings on his horse. He and the others all rode ordinary-looking broncs. But I did notice one thing.
Oh, what was that?
On the back of the right sleeve of his jacket, I noticed specks of what seemed to be gold. And I noticed the same thing on the back of the pants that one of the outlaws wore. One of the men who dismounted.
And perhaps your close observation will help us spot the man we're after.
How would do that, Kimasabi?
I think the leader of that gang is someone who lives or spends a great deal of time in town.
Oh, you think gang cover trail to hideout. Then maybe leader go back to town.
Possible, Tonto. You head for town. I'll wait in the grove nearby while you and Dan go and look around. I'll look for a man who has gold-colored particles on his clothing.
That's a good idea.
It isn't too noticeable unless the person's looking for it. And I'm sure I could spot it right away.
That's what I'm counting on, Dan. All right, let's go.
A short time later, the three riders pulled to a stop in a thick grove at the edge of town.
Steady, big fella. I'll wait here. Tonto, you and Dan go into town and look around. It'll be dark in another hour or so. If it's necessary for me to go into town then, my mask isn't likely to be noticed. All right, better go now.
We'll come back as soon as we have something to report.
That's right.
Get them up. Come. Adios.
Adios.
We'll continue our Lone Ranger adventure in just a moment. Know what I've got here? Sounds like money, and it is. Matter of fact, I've got a handful of genuine foreign coins. Real money you could spend right now in faraway lands. Wheaties fans can have this wonderful collection of foreign coins for your very own. Just listen. Wheaties is offering 2 different sets of foreign coins, 15 coins in each set. The international set has coins from countries like Finland and Pakistan. The mystery set has coins from places like Monaco and Southern Rhodesia. Each set comes in a special coin folder with a map that shows you where the coins are used and information about that country. And each coin has been cleaned and polished. How do you get these genuine foreign coins? Well, for each set, you send us only 1 Wheaties box top and 25 cents. Look for the directions on the back of Wheaties special foreign coin packages now at your grocer's. Pick one up and start collecting foreign coins. Continue. In the thick grove at the edge of town, the Lone Ranger sat on a stump as the great horse Silver grazed nearby. Suddenly, Silver raised his head, then whinnied a warning. Instantly, the masked man jumped to his feet and whirled, reaching for his gun.
All right, mister, don't draw.
The sheriff's voice came from behind him and a short distance away.
Now reach and be quick about it.
The Lone Ranger, whose hands were already resting on his guns, slowly raised his arms, leaving his guns holstered. He had turned in the direction in which Silver was looking, and the voice had come from behind him.
There's 6 of us, mister. We moved in on you from all sides. I see the others now.
The sheriff's men had stepped from behind trees when the Lone Ranger raised his hands. The sheriff spoke again.
You got tipped off by a fellow who saw you ride in here with 2 partners. Where are they? In town. Down there. Well, that man said you're an outlaw. They must be too. And I figure you're all in with a gang that's been operating here. I'll explain the matter, Sheriff. Shut up. I'm in no mood to listen to lies. The rest of you men move in and cover it. All right. Now what? We're taking you to the Bakerville jail. Eventually you'll hang, so you might as well talk and let the rest of that murdering gang hang with you. Now wait, Sheriff. I'm willing to talk now if you'll listen. Keep reaching and shut up like I told you. Men, keep him covered and be careful. All right. I'm going to holster my gun and take those fancy ones he wears. After that, we'll take off his mask. Now stand right in front of him, all of you. I'll move in from behind. And if he makes a move, plug him.
The sheriff holstered his gun, then stood a moment without moving. He eyed the masked man carefully, then slowly started forward. At that moment...
You drop guns. They have you covered. Oh, we smoke the other 2. They're covering us from either side, and they got the trees to protect them. They're both cracked shots, Sheriff. The men had better drop their guns. Well, I'm taking no chances. There's mine too. They're killers.
Sullenly, the 5 men with the sheriff dropped their guns. Immediately, the Lone Ranger drew his own guns and moved quickly to one side to cover the sheriff and the others.
Now the table returns, Sheriff. Hello, come and get their guns. Let me get guns and throw them into brush. Stay back there, Dan, and keep your gun ready.
All right, sir.
I'll take your gun, Sheriff, and throw them with the others. I thunder you'll regret this, mister. Big fella, easy. Adios, Sheriff. See you again soon. Maybe scout among trees. Me go get him. Adios. This is the worst I ever come up against. Take it easy, Sheriff. We'll meet again. Come through this.
The Lone Ranger and his 2 companions left the grove and headed for their camp by a roundabout route. They made sure to cover their trail in case they were followed later. After they arrived at camp, Tonto and Dan discussed what they had found out in town.
Oh, you noticed that the land agent and the store owner both had gold flecks on their sleeves. And they were both out of town during the robbery.
That's right, sir.
It complicates matters somewhat.
You think one of them outlaw leader?
It's possible, Tonto, and very probable from the looks of things. Did Atkins or Canby notice you, Dan?
No, sir. I was careful about that. Canby not see me at cafe.
And so far, have either of you been to Atkins' store of supplies?
No, sir.
Dan, didn't you hear one of the outlaws called by name when they robbed the ranches?
Yes, I did. The man who took my gun was called Slick by one of the others.
Good. I'm thinking of a plan that may bring the quiet highwayman into the open. Now that it's dark, we'll head back to town.
Later that night, Frank Atkins, the store owner, sat in the main room of his small house in town, checking his accounts. Hearing a knock at the door, he arose and, with gun in hand, went to open it.
Why, an Indian. The young fellow with his hands tied behind him. What's the idea? You not need gun. Me bring note. gun.
Let's see what this is all about. Boss, the Indian can be trusted. We caught this young maverick snooping around the hideout. He was with the rancher today and must have found our trail somehow. I told the Indian you'd pay him for bringing the young snooper to you. It's fine slick. Indian, who's slick? What kind of trick is this?
It's no trick. Slick say, you remember young fella. Say, you pay cash to get him.
There's something strange about this. That's under the note mentions the rancher. I'm beginning to put two and two together. Step aside, young fella. I'll get this Injun to talk. Who's going?
Dan quickly stepped aside as Tonto sprang at Frank Atkins and landed a hard blow to the chin with his fist.
Me sorry do that. Come down, me untie. Right. There. We go now.
A few moments later, the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and Dan watched Frank Atkins as the store owner ran hurriedly down the main street and stopped at the sheriff's office.
He's the man we want. He's very clever. All right, let's go finish our plan.
Gil Canby, the land agent, sat at the desk in his office when someone knocked on the back door.
Me bring young fella. Me have note. Come inside. Now, what's this all about? You read note. So Slip caught this young spy near the hideout, huh? Oh, and him say you give me plenty cash. I'll give you cash, all right. I remember this young fella, and I'm glad Slick caught him. Keep him covered and come over near my desk. I'll pay you off again. And you leave this young hombre with me.
Treating Dan as a prisoner, Tonto forced him to follow Canby to the desk. When Canby unlocked the desk drawer, Tonto leaned forward and caught a glimpse of its contents. He saw one item that was of great interest, a black hood. Canby looked up and saw Tonto gazing into the drawer.
So you're interested in what's in that drawer, huh, Indian? Too interested. I'm not sure I can trust you like Slick says in that note. Oh, him trust me plenty. All right. Before you get your money, holster your gun and tie that young snooper to a chair. Here's a piece of rope. Meantime,
as Tonto holstered his gun and pretended to tie Dan to the chair, Gil Canby closed the door and made a sudden quick move.
I got you covered, Redskin, you and the young fella. I don't trust either of you. You know too much. I'm going to kill both of you right now. Hold it. The masked man, I'll get you. I'll be hit. Now, me take your gun. Now, me tie you and take you to hell.
Meanwhile, at the sheriff's office across the street, Atkins and the sheriff heard the shot and, followed by deputies, hurried to Canby's office.
Stop that gun in the reach, Indy. You young fella don't move. Those are the two I told you about, Sheriff. And by golly, they're the same two who helped the masked man escape us a while ago.
They came to rob me, Sheriff. Tried some kind of trick. I went for my gun and got shot.
Yeah, tried to trick me, too.
You wait, Sheriff. Me explain.
No, I'm not waiting. By thunder, I'll wait and listen, Sheriff. The masked man, he's got the drop on us. Yeah, holding these guns only for the purpose of keeping one of you from making a foolish move. Now, Tonto, what about this man, Gil Canby?
Him, leader of outlaws. That's right. The sheriff will look in the desk drawer. You'll find the black hood.
What's that? Let me see. Jumping catfish, the hood is here. And so's the wallet stolen from that rancher today. I can't believe Gil Canby is really the quiet highwayman.
Use your brain, Sheriff. I'm not. These two put those things in the drawer.
That's a lie, Canby. Sheriff, this man is the highwayman. Here's a letter from the United States Marshal in Austin asking my help in finding this outlaw and his gang. Let me see that. Right. Great day. Well, why didn't you show me this earlier? I had no chance until now. Well, whatever led you to Gil Canby, mister? The gold-colored dust on the back of his right sleeve. My young friend Dan noticed it today when the gang held up the ranch and his wife. Oh, yeah. They told me about meeting a young fella just for the robbery. We saw two men in town lately with that gold dust on their sleeves. Gil Canby and Frank Atkins. Oh, that's why the Indian came to see me, huh? Why, there are some gold specks on my sleeve at that. A prospector coming through from California gold fields paid me in gold dust this morning. I knocked again the scales and got some of the dust on the sleeve. Don't know where Canby got the dust on his sleeve. Wait a minute. Another of the outlaws had some of the gold-covered dust on his clothing. someplace near the gang's hideout. Hideout? That does it. I recollect now. A couple of months ago, a prospector who dug for a long time thought he struck it rich. When he dug a regular cave into a hill, he found out it was only fool's gold. And then in a rage, he went back and threw the dust all over the place. The gang must use that cave for a hideout. That explains the flecks of gold on Canby's sleeves and on the other outlaw's clothing. Jiminy, you must be right. We'll help you round up the rest of the gang, Sheriff. Mister, you've done your part in grabbing the most important one, the quiet highwayman. We'll put him in jail. And I'll take a big posse and grab the others without any trouble at all. They won't be expecting us, so it'll be easy. Well, we'll be camped nearby until we hear they're captured, Sheriff. We'll see you again. Let's go, Tonto, Dan. Adios. Sheriff, tell me one thing. What made you change so sudden like after you read that note? Who is that masked man? Well, you know, I wondered why he didn't gun us earlier when he finally got the drop on us at the Grove. But now, I know the answer to that one. You see, he's none other than the Lone Ranger.
We'll return in just a moment for a word about our next exciting Lone Ranger adventure, Race for Life. Now, free stamp offer from Cheerios, the ready-to-eat oat cereal. A 64-page guide packed with information on stamp collecting, plus 10 genuine foreign stamps to start your collection. Free with one special Cheerios Fat Stop. You'll want this handy 1955 guide. It contains many pages in full color, gives you tips on how to collect stamps, how to start your own stamp club, and includes a whole section on U.S. stamps. Get both guide and 10 genuine foreign stamps free for only one special Cheerios box top. And on the back of the same Cheerios package, find still another offer. 300 foreign stamps plus stamp album for only 25 cents and box top. All stamps supplied by the world's largest stamp firm, H.E. Harrison Company of Boston. Act now. Look for the Cheerios package with the free stamp offer on the front. When Apaches went on the warpath and threatened the town and territory around Viewpoint, the Lone Ranger risked his life to bring help and to create a better understanding among the settlers. Action and suspense make this an adventure you'll not want to miss. Be sure to listen. The Lone Ranger, a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, is created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Muir Incorporated, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer. Your announcer, Fred Foy. The Lone Ranger is brought to you by General Mills every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this same time. Be sure to listen. This recorded program has come to you from Detroit. This is ABC Radio Network.
You've been listening to the OTR Gold Network. Find more classic radio at otrgold.com.